Donald Trump all set to be sworn in tonight as the 47th President of the United States. It happens at 10:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. It's going to mark his triumphant return to the White House. This historic ceremony is going to unfold inside the iconic US Capitol building. And gracing the occasion, a constellation of global power players. Among the attendees are tech titans Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. Also, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will be in attendance, the President of Argentina, the Prime Minister of Italy as well. And adding to the gravitas, the former US presidents Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush. They will all be present to witness the political comeback of the century. Trump's camp warmed up for the big day with a rally on Sunday, a spectacle that was steeped in the familiar echoes of the MAGA mantra, the Make America Great Again campaign. And amidst the fervor, Trump has made a grandiose promise. In his words, to fix every single crisis facing the US, delivering all of it with his trademark blend of hyperbole and bravado, what has come to be known as his political signature. So as Trump reclaims the Oval Office, the world watches with bated breath, racing for the inaugural executive orders from the man who once turned the political playbook on its head. The anticipation is quite palpable. Allies and critics alike all prepare for the next chapter in the Trump saga. But let's break this down further and see what's in store. To delve deeper into the economic implications of this political comeback, we're joined by the eminent Swaminathan Aiyar, consulting editor at ET Now. Mr. Aiyar, it's always a pleasure to get you on the show and get in your perspective. Now, as the Trump administration is gearing up for round two, there is palpable curiosity about how his foreign policy is going to evolve, Mr. Aiyar. Given his past overtures, the complexities of the global landscape right now, how do you see Trump's approach to India shaping up in his second term? Will it be more of the same, or are we in for some surprises?
Oh, I think we are in for an exciting but rather uncomfortable time. Mr. Trump has come promising to change the world. He wants to tear up things like, the traditional NATO relationship, the traditional NAFTA relationship, the whole WTO structure, the whole World Climate Agreement structure. I mean, he claims he wants to change things all over. For India, the biggest danger in this is that he will start a trade war. I mean, he has threatened to put tariffs of 10% on everybody, or 60% on China. He has called India a trade king and says that, look at India, it put such high import duties on American bikes, but we allowed it almost duty-free. We are not going to allow this. So I think India is in for an uncomfortable time, but just like all other countries are going to be in for a very uncomfortable time, there is a danger that, when he puts these trade tariffs, Europe will retaliate, Japan will retaliate, we will retaliate. I would just say on our own part, let us not be very aggressive on retaliating, because in the mood of this guy, if you retaliate, he will retaliate even more. I mean, that is the kind of trade war we are fearing, that there will be an escalation and escalation. And all that we can do is wait and watch and hope that the escalation is limited. It is not in our interest to go very far. And then we can wait to see that if Trump, after 4 years, he'll be replaced by somebody else, maybe then we will return to a more normal world. But right now, we face a pretty tough prospect on trade. I am not an optimist at all that Trump will be held back.
Mr. Aiyar, you say Trump will not be held back, but you do say that India should not go in for retaliation as far as tariffs are concerned. But, he's known for that unpredictable foreign policy moves. We've known him do that in the past, and he can stir up a storm with a tweet as well every morning. So do you anticipate a more volatile geopolitical environment for India in the near term, considering the complexities of South Asia? We have border tensions here. We have alliances that are shifting in our neck of the woods. How will Trump's policies impact South Asia and India's strategic positioning on the global stage, according to you?
By near term, in our neighborhood, I don't expect very much change. I don't think it will be going to impact our relations very much with Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. I don't think anything will change very much there. US relations with Pakistan have already cooled and they will continue to be cooled. There is no sense in which Trump sees any great advantage in backing Pakistan in any strong way. The notion that it's the gateway to Afghanistan, it's all gone. Taliban has taken over there. And Trump says that it was a mistake to get into this kind of thing anyway. So in an immediate neighborhood, no, I do not see chances of a disruption. The real problem, I think, is that his isolationism may encourage Chinese adventurism, either in the South China Sea or in Taiwan.
But Mr. Aiyar, talking about China, and you spoke about tariffs up front, you can't take out the US-China trade war possibility, and this looms large for the world as well. It defined much of his first term. Trump has had this hardline stance on tariffs, like you said, on economic decoupling as well. Do you see an escalation of tensions with Beijing, or could there be a strategic recalibration in his approach this time around? In your opinion, will this next chapter in US-China relations see an aggravation of the trade conflict, or are we seeing an unexpected thaw in arguably the world's most pivotal economic rivalries?
It is possible that we will gain something from the trade war between the USA and China, which is already taking place. And this will not be a new development. Already there have been huge tariffs put to prevent Chinese imports of renewable energy. And it is still not clear whether the Chinese will be allowed to export any electric cars to the USA. Trump will doubtless double down on those particular efforts. There is a theory that this will induce foreign investors to diversify out of China, create a China plus one policy that, instead of just investing in China, they will also invest in other countries, and India can get a slice of that shift. I'm afraid we've been hoping for this already for the last 5 years, and very little of that China plus one stuff has actually come to India. A lot of it has gone to Vietnam, Laos, Mexico, various other countries. Very little to us, because I'm afraid our overall attitude to foreign investment is not particularly good. People do not believe that this is a government that welcomes foreign investment. People are afraid that India will back local champions against anybody who comes in. And for these reasons, secondly, we are not allowing Chinese investment. The various Chinese companies that want to come in and invest in electric vehicles and solar and batteries, and or many of them we have not been allowing. So if you don't allow Chinese companies also to come in, then the idea of people diversifying out of China, that again is getting limited because you are unable to create a supply chain. So we need to liberalize these things and look more favorably, and not keep backing our national champions against foreign investment. If you do that, then you can get some more benefit of the China plus one thing as the trade war with China escalates.
So from what you're saying, China plus one, if America and if the Trump administration is going to push that agenda, not much of it is going to come India's way unless we become that much more welcoming. I take that point. But Mr. Aiyar, this war in Ukraine, it continues to cast this long shadow over global stability. Do you see any resolution in sight under Trump's renewed push in his leadership, given his historically unconventional approach to global conflicts, relationships with key players like Putin? Could we see a path to peace emerge and end this protracted crisis that has really shot up prices of oil, among other things?
It is not possible for Mr. Trump to force Ukraine to accept a ceasefire. In the worst case scenario, if he says, I'm not going to supply any more arms, even then, that does not, I think, result in an automatic end to the war, because the Europeans are very, very keen on continuing support to Zelensky as long as he wants to fight. Now, back-channel talks have taken place on a ceasefire. They have taken place on the idea that if you have approximately along the current ceasefire line, then Russia may be able to keep this slice, about a quarter of Ukraine it has taken over. possibly at some point of time, without ending the war formally, there may be a ceasefire. And the ceasefire may be violated and things may remain uncertain. But the chances of a ceasefire are higher. And at the end of it, you see, both sides can declare victory. Ukraine can say that, Russia wanted to take over the whole country and we have stopped it, more or less, at the Dnieper River. And Russia, on the other hand, can say, look, the whole world tried to stop us and they couldn't stop us from taking over the slice of territory. You can rephrase what your original aims were. So it is possible. I mean, this was talked about, as I said, even before the Trump won the election. And it will be talked about even more now because there's certain exhaustion. But don't count on a very quick end. It may not come very quickly. I think the Europeans will declare that even if Trump is not helping, we will continue to help Zelensky as long as he wants to fight. Now, if he himself is okay with a ceasefire, that will happen.
All right, so for the moment, of course, the big question marks do stand on the possibility of peace being found between Russia and Ukraine for that protracted war. But Mr. Aiyar, in the meantime, what about the Indian currency? The rupee has recently plunged to historic lows and there are mounting concerns over these global trade tensions we are talking about, the geopolitical uncertainties that we are addressing. Now with Trump's unpredictable stance on trade tariffs, all the international relations, they're back in play. Do you see continued pressure on the Indian currency and even other emerging market currencies? How are the policies of Trump going to impact the markets? Are we in for a high period of volatility, you think?
Yes, I think that is absolutely the case. I do think the rupee will continue. I think the capital will continue to say, let's go. There are so many uncertainties. Let us seek a safe haven. The safest haven is the dollar. And the riskiest areas are the emerging markets. So some movement from the emerging markets to American treasuries, I think, is inevitable. What you're seeing is just the start. It is not going to stop. And that applies as much to the currency problem as it is to foreign portfolio investment. I think foreign portfolio investment too could keep selling in India and forcing the stock market down. So I would say neither the rupee nor the stock market is going to look very healthy after Mr. Trump comes to power.
All right, Mr. Aiyar, we'll have to wait and watch. That seems to be the only way at this point in time. But thank you for joining us with your insights. We are navigating this new chapter in US-India relations under Trump's second term. It's quite clear that the global landscape is going to continue shifting in unpredictable ways. India is going to have to remain agile in its approach.